Okay, so what is variation? Variation is any different thing that is present among the individuals. For example, if we talk about two individuals, it would be like there are different characteristics present in you and your sibling, for example. So, variation is the difference between the individuals of the same species. Okay? For example, if we talk about humans, humans may have you can say what can we say? Humans may have different hair color. Humans may have different skin type. What else? What else? What other characteristics? Okay, height, appearance. What else? Eye color. No, that we don't count in this one. Hair color. So let's go more into detail. What other personal thing can be instead of these physical things? There is something that is related to like the blood type, the blood group. So that is also different in different individuals. Some individuals are positive, some are B negative. So there are different types. Okay, now let's talk about the two main types of variation. One is the phenotypic variation, and other is the genotypic variation. So, what is phenotypic variation? So, we have learned this in inheritance that phenotype is basically the uh, phenotype is the physical appearance of an individual, right? So it is the difference in features, like we can say the eye color is different or the blood color is different. That would be our phenotypic variation. Okay, so when we talk about the phenotypic variation, so there are two main categories of phenotypic variation. One is the continuous variation, and other one is the discontinuous variation. So we have discussed this earlier that the continuous variation is the one in which there are no sharp boundaries, right? For example, height. There are so many people with different heights. So the phenotypic variation, oh sorry, the continuous variation is the one in which no such difference is present. There are different categories present, and you cannot actually differentiate what is 139, or maybe there are some people who are with 139.5. Okay. So this is the continuous variation. So when we, sorry, how would you define the continuous variation? That it is a type of a variation where there are many small degree of differences for a particular characteristic. Okay? For example, height and other things. Let me give you the definition. So this is the definition. This is how we define it. That continuous variation is the one in which where there are many small degree of differences, and the particular characteristics between individual, and they can be arranged in order and can usually be measured on a scale, and that scale can be different things. Even the length of fingers is a different characteristic. You might have heard about this. The length, yes, because sometimes they ask how could you identify that this is this type of variation, if this is continuous and discontinuous, and how could you identify this is continuous? Then you have to give these words. Okay, these words you need to write in the answer. Okay, so the discontinuous one, is the blood group. So there are only four type of blood groups. Is it so? What are those? Okay, and what type of alleles are present for these? Let's say we write for A. So if we say A, there are two cases for A blood group It can be both a, wait. It can be both a, or it can be one A dominant and one recessive A. Okay, or you can say if there maybe it there is one thing that there is A antigen and then there is absence of antigen. Okay, ultimately the blood group is A. So for B there are also two cases, either both are present or maybe one is present and one is absent. So ultimately the blood group is B even if one is absent. For O, both are absent, both antigens are absent. I'm telling you again and again this because this blood group concept is important. And in AB, both alleles are present, and this is a case of codominance. The codominance is a case in which the both alleles express themselves. So we say in dominant and recessive one, the dominant expresses itself and recessive doesn't. Recessive only express itself when it is homozygous recessive. So what is the meaning of homozygous and heterozygous? Hmm. Sorry. So let's differentiate it. So homozygous mean the alleles are same. This one is homozygous case. They are same alleles. Both are capital A. Okay. And this one is heterozygous. These are different alleles. Again, AB is heterozygous. Okay. Okay. Then what is the cause of phenotypic variation or the other variation, genotypic variation? So when we talk about the phenotypic variation, it can be caused by two main things. One is environment and other is genes. Good. How does environment affect it? Okay, good. Darker. Okay. There are more chances of the cancer. Okay, the phenotypic variation can be caused, sorry, it can be caused in two ways. What are those two ways? It can be genetic controlled. For example, if one of the organism is going to have some variation, for example plants, the plants are going to have the sunken stomata like in cactus, it means the generations of it would have the sunken stomata, whatever the organism is going to be produced by it. Okay, so it can be genetic or it can be environmental, like it's a adaptation of certain organisms that or certain plants that they have the hidden stomata. Okay. Okay, then the genetic changes. What can be genetic changes? Exactly, they can be or the eye color first of all. Okay, what else? Okay, so here the examples are given. For example, the blood group is genetic first of all, though it is discontinuous, but it is a genetic variation. There is variation in the genes. If we talk about eye color, it is also controlled by genes. If we talk about the gender, it is also controlled by genes. If you look at your ear, so some people have free lobed. So here, if there is like a separation, it's a free lobe. If it is like swish or stick like this, it would be fixed lobe. Okay, this is also one of the major variation that is seen in the world. Let's talk about the environmental variation. So again, as you have mentioned, that melanin production is one of the example of the environmental condition. What else? Just now I have mentioned the plants. Give me examples for plants. Okay. Okay. This can be modify into the environmental. For example, it there is a recent research about this, that the people of South Asia, they tend to get fat because whatever diet they are following. For example, it's a research, by the way, so let's discuss that. There is a research that the people of South Asia tend to become obese more easily as compared to the other countries because of some history that is related to this region, that people have lesser food available to eat. Now their body is adapted in such a way that whenever it gets food, it tends to store it because it becomes the habit of the body to store the food for the coming days. Okay. Bad, that was bad. I don't think so. But it can be a vector. It can be a vector. The vector is something that transfer the anything. So the environmental variation characteristic of all organisms can be affected by environmental factors such as climate, diet, accidents, culture, and lifestyle. In this instance, environmental means outside of the organism. So any factor that is present outside and that affect the human or any species characteristic is included in environmental variation. Now let's talk about the genetic variation. As I've told you, that's this region. There is a research that the South Asian region is more likely to have famine, and so their body is adapted in a way that they store food and they become obese easily. So this is now genetic. It becomes the part of genes of the generations. Okay. Okay, then we talk about the mutations. What are mutations? Yes, mutation is a genetic change. So what are the causes of mutation? Like if it's a genetic change, what are the causes? Okay, incorrect copying, or that results in the missing of gene or doubling of gene. Okay, and what happened in those? Exactly. So damage during mitosis. Okay, there is one thing that we are going to learn in A levels, that is that there is some part of the chromosome that gets minus in every cell division. That's why our cell ages. Okay. Exactly, if it is not going to be erased or cut, that are cut actually in the um you can say cell division. That's why we are getting older. But if there is a way that there these portions are not cut, or the genes are not cut during the cell division, that would enhance the youth. But it's a natural process. We have to become old. So we are not talking about vampires here. So we also don't know whether vampires are real or not. Okay, it can be. It can be. Okay. So, when we talk about the mutations can be harmless and they can be harmful. Okay. For example, if there is a mutation in the genes for the production of insulin, uh, when we say that diabetes can be genetic, it can be genetically transferred from parent to offspring. If it runs in the family, then more it's more likely that the person is going to get the disease diabetes. Okay, so it can be harmful. Another example is the sickle cell anemia. Diabetes is a common one. Sickle cell anemia. Okay, what is sickle cell anemia? So, anemia is the word related to the blood deficiency or the iron deficiency. Okay, it is present in red blood cells. So, whenever the red blood cells have a biconcave shape, would be like this. In sickle cell anemia, due to the incorrect hemoglobin is a protein, so it may happen that genes will result in the missing of some part of protein. So it may happen that the structure would be like this, okay, and not completely round or biconcave. This shape is called a sickle cell anemia. Now, what will happen if the shape is not proper? The person would find it difficult to breathe. Got it? Okay. Then there are another another causes are x-rays. Very common. It has been said that you cannot undergo the x-ray examination again and again because it is going to damage your enzymes, or they may change the protein structure as well. That could be harmful. Okay. Okay. For example, the UV rays. So we say when there is so much exposure to UV rays, it may leads to cancer. Exactly, to protect the human. Though we have a natural protection ozone layer, but due to the depletion of this, there are more UV rays now reaching the earth. Yes, it has its own ways, but still sometimes we need more precaution. Then the chemicals that you have discussed earlier as well, for example, the tar in tobacco, it can lead to cancer or the other diseases. Okay. So this is our one of the topic.